What's up, Dragon Brood? So today we get to have a little bit of fun with not necessarily a tribe, but more of a keyword. And we've done this a couple of times on the channel because it seems really fun to play with these Deathtouch deck lists. And we're kind of actually going back. We were playing Jund, then we played it with just green black on Golgari, and now we're back to Jund. So this should be pretty fun for people to see. And we did get some new tools from Zendikar Rising, which I wasn't really expecting. So that's going to make this actually pretty fun to mess around with. And the cards we got are very good. And they actually solve some of the problems we've had with the past list, which I also really appreciate. But you know, before I show it to you, what I'm going to ask is if you could do me a favor and please hit that like button, because that'll get us seen by more people. And then if you hit the subscribe button, that lets me know that you appreciate the work we're putting into these deck lists. And then when you hit the notification bell, that makes sure you get notified every time I have a new video up. And right now, until the release of Zendikar, we're going to be putting out deck lists every single day, multiples a day. So you don't want to miss those, because there's likely going to be something that you can use. Or maybe we'll learn a little something. As a matter of fact, let's learn something now and go take a look at this Jund Deathtouch list. Alright, so if you've seen the other Deathtouch lists on the channel, they're going to fall very much in line with the same space, so not going to be a huge surprise there. But some of the new cards actually do some really fun things, so let's go ahead and take a look. We're starting at the top with Foulmire Knight. This one is probably the most ubiquitous Deathtouch thing there is out there, and truthfully we could play new Deathtouch things, but truthfully it's funny because people pointed out the elf that's a 1/1 green with Deathtouch, but we already had that. It's called Moss Viper. So not new. We could play each of those, but we opted to go with black mostly because this gives us the option of drawing in a card as well, and we can't really overlook that. We are playing a full set of Primal Mites because Deathtouch getting to fight things just kills it, and that's awesome. And we're going to try a couple of these Malachor Rebirths. We're only playing a couple because it's more of an experiment, but what I like about it is you can actually protect a creature that you might have being targeted, and it doubles as a land for the list. You can skimp on land a little bit by playing it, but I would mostly use this to protect either your Hooded Blightfang, your Zagreus, and maybe something that has a Porcuparrot mutated onto it. I'm not really sure if I'm too worried about protecting the other cards. There's some scenarios where protecting your Nighthawk might be important, but I wouldn't worry about it too much. But it is cool that it lets you get the key cards back and keep them in play. Mire Triton, just a good way to gain some life. It's another Deathtouch thing. It's a 2-power creature. So not doing anything particular. We don't care about the cards being in our graveyard as much as we do just like having it out there as a Deathtouch creature and gaining some life. Shovel also gains a little bit of life, lets us draw some cards. And because we have so many ways to target the opponent's creatures now, we should be able to take down anything that has a bounty token on it, I guess, from Shovel. Ram Through, again, it's another one of those cards. It's a bite spell, not a fight spell. Difference for y'all know is when you fight, both creatures will damage to each other. When you bite, it's just your creature dealing damage to the other thing. So when you hear me make that distinction, that's what I'm talking about. So Ram Through is a bite, whereas Primal Might is a fight. So maybe we need a different word because, you know, they don't sound similar, but that comes from us having previous cards like Rabid Bite and things like that kind of give that connotation. Again, there's the Nighthawk, 3 mana, 1/3, but your power will increase equal to the number of cards in your opponent's graveyard. Most times it's just going to be +2, maybe +3 in this list, but that's not a bad thing. I mean, it's just an additional flyer that's gaining life. It has flying, it has Deathtouch, so it's doing everything the deck wants to do, just with a cool bonus. Hooded Blightfang, probably the best card in the deck. Every time a creature with Deathtouch attacks, you get to drain your opponent for 1. And it doesn't necessarily have to attack on its own. It just has to be on the board while other creatures attack, which is a very big deal. And if you have a creature deal a Planeswalker, you outright kill it. Which is huge considering that we have new Nissa, new Nahiri, new Jace that everybody wants to play with. Teferi's starting to get more action now. I mean, technically Ugin's still a thing that's out there if somehow you have Blightfang and something, you know, right after an Ugin. So there's a lot happening there for sure with this card, and I am a big fan. And in multiples, they do both trigger. Remember that. Here's another one of the new cards. That's Colony Ambush. It is 3 mana, but it is an instant, and it does let your creatures fight something else. Again, this is very big in this type of list whenever you have all these Deathtouch things, especially if you have stuff like a Hooded Blightfang or maybe even Questing Beast that has a bigger toughness, you can fight something and not die in some cases, and force your opponent into some bad blocking situations. Additionally, it does actually come into play tapped as a green mana source on the backside, so that helps the deck list as well. Skimp on land while also giving you a card that you can really appreciate and utilize. We're playing one Balaged Recovery, also has a tapped green source on the backside, but this lets you get one card back from your graveyard. This is good in the case you need to just get a finisher, maybe something to push through some damage, like a Questing Beast potentially, or maybe your opponent's at like 4 or 5, you want to get back a Blightfang and then just finish them off. Like, it's going to give you just a little bit of flexibility by having that in there, and it's only 3 mana, so it's not bad at all. We have been talking about Questing Beast. We've said it before in other videos, it's probably still the best 4 mana creature in green. 4 mana thing that green's probably had in the history of Magic. It's got to be in the top 5, it's that good. And it has Deathtouch, so we definitely have to play it in this list. We're playing 3 Porcupairs. Maybe it's not even needed anymore because we have the Call in the Ambush, because we have Ram Through, because we have Primal Might. It's possible we're beating up our mana for no reason, but maybe not, right? So we're going to leave it in and test it. If it still works out and we like it, we'll keep it. If not, we'll just find room for something else. Playing 2 Hagra's Mauling because, again, it lets you skimp on mana. The backside is a tapped black source, but it does kill creatures. Again, is it even necessary? Maybe not. Maybe this could be a land and something else relevant. Some type of finisher, some bigger creature, maybe a planeswalker. It's possible that we could just be doing more things with this spot since we have so many things to kill creatures. I honestly feel like once we get to the final list, I could see me cutting some number of, say, like maybe 1 Primal Might, 1 Ram Through or Call in the Ambush, or cutting the Hagra Mauling, and just making room for more actual spells or creatures. Because this is a lot of creature kill. I mean, you're talking 4, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 ways to deal with creatures. We're probably going a bit overboard. Maybe those should actually be something like Murderous Riders that let us kill Planeswalkers as well. Playing 1 Vivien Monsters Advocate. And this is because you can do a few cool things with this, right? If you minus Vivien, you can play like Questing Beast to go get a Blightfang, so you're getting extra damage in that way, which is pretty cool. You can play our last card here, Zagras, to go get Questing Beast, and then you're attacking with 8 power worth of Deathtouch things on that turn. So a few things that are going on here. In general, we don't get to reduce the cost of Zagras very much, because I think we only have like a rogue that triggers the party, and that's Cheval. I don't think anybody else really yeah, this is a rogue as well. But yeah, that's really all we're hitting with that. So most of the time, you're just going to be paying 6. There's a couple times you're going to pay 5, but that's fine. I think the card is just good enough anyway. Being a flyer that's 4/4 is a big deal for this deck because you don't have a lot of evasive options. So it kind of solves that problem for you. And, you know, as a bonus, if you hit a Planeswalker, you just kill it. So you can one-shot a Planeswalker, which is pretty big. You know, as much as we don't like things like Ugin, this is the type of card that if you have it in hand after an Ugin, you just play it, attack in, take them down, and then you still have a 4/4 creature. So I dig it. It's pretty sweet. Lands, the one thing I will say here that's a disappointment is we don't have the black-red pathway yet. That would have made this deck super sweet if we had access to it. I like it more than the green-red pathway because we have more things that need black than green. So that would have been super huge. And we probably could have cut the mountain entirely from the list. But for now, this is kind of where we're at on the land. Nothing too special there. And like I said, this could get changed as we talk about how to trim some of these numbers so we don't have so many things that are targeting creatures. Yeah, the more I think about it, the final version you're able to download is probably going to have some number of those fight spells or bite spells replaced, because that's just kind of a lot. I think I can trim at least 3 and find room for something else that could be pretty good in this list. Also, I want to say, as always, remember you can check out the deck list in the description down below, as well as links to my Discord, my Twitch, and other things that I have going on if you want to come be part of other conversations, get deck help, just kind of see what else is going on, and get a head start whenever I'm working on building things. And don't worry if you don't see a deck, your favorite deck yet. There are literally going to be decks that I'm putting out multiple times a day between now and the release of Zendikar Rising. So they are coming. Give me a chance. We're trying to get them out as fast as we can. And remember, if you haven't, please like this video to help me get seen by more people. Hit that subscription bell to show me how much you appreciate me. And, well, no, you hit the subscription button, that's for me. The subscription bell, that's for you. Because that lets you know every time I have a new video up. And right now, like I said before, we're going to be putting out deck lists every single day leading up to Zendikar Rising. And you may not want to miss one because there's lots of cool stuff we're trying. Lots of experiments. It's a fun time to be deck building right now. But that's all I have for you for now. We'll see you next time.